o'clock, and it's time for the morning watch.
Listeners to Love 101 FM are advised that the views and opinions expressed in this program are not necessarily those of Love 101 FM.
Welcome to the Morning Watch on Love 101 FM. I'm your host, Toussaint. A special welcome to our listeners on love101.org, and if you're overseas and on the move, U.S. listeners can access us at 712-832-8001. And if you're in the UK, 0330-332-6541. Or join us via the Love 101 FM app that can be downloaded from the Google Play Store or the Apple Store. You can also join us on Love 101 FM Facebook and YouTube Live. In the first watch today, calculating the cost of negligence while parenting. And in the second watch, that viral video involving the nurse and the businessman. For our social media question, we ask, should negligent parents be fined and or jailed? We're asking you to share your responses on our Love 101 FM Facebook page and YouTube channel. And also on WhatsApp, 876-997-3125 using the hashtag The Morning Watch. We'll share your responses later on in the program, but before all of that, here's I quote.
I quote, absence of evidence is not evidence of absence, popularized by Carl Sagan.
Yeah, good morning, Darren.
Good morning, Sir Toussaint.
Yeah, I see that you're up early this morning.
My goodness.
Hey, bro.
It's good to finally meet you.
Yeah, same here, man. Same here. Have a good program the rest of the morning.
Thank you, same to you.
The first watch after this break.
This Thursday, May 22, on To Have and To Hold. Get ready for a love story that's rich with faith, purpose, and 33 years of unshakable commitment. Dr. Colleen Beckles sits down with David and Gillette Grant. He's a passionate pastor. She's a powerful psalmist, best known for the soul-stirring anthem, With Jesus, I'll Make It.
Oh, with Jesus, I'll make it.
Married for over 3 decades, the Grants have built more than just a home. They've built a legacy. From laughter to lessons, mountaintops to quiet prayers, David and Gillette open up about the real moments that have shaped their journey and the faith that continues to anchor their marriage. Don't miss the truly marvelous program To Have and To Hold with Dr. Colleen Beckles this Thursday, May 22 at 5:30 p.m. on the family station Love 101.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. Thanks for staying with us. I'm your host, Toussaint. Now, last week, the Gleaner reported that a mother was sentenced to almost 1 year in prison after being charged and found guilty with negligence for failing to report the physical abuse of her child by her husband. So, what are the issues and implications arising from her sentencing and the incidents surrounding it? To give us their views on the matter, we have online Diane Gordon Harrison, children's advocate, and Anthony Williams, attorney at law. Good morning to you both. Good morning. Both of them?
Thursday, May 22, on To Have and to Hold. Get ready for a love story that's rich with faith, purpose, and 33 years of unshakable commitment. Dr. Colleen Beckles sits down with David and Gillette Grant. He's a passionate pastor. She's a powerful psalmist, best known for the soul-stirring anthem, With Jesus, I'll Make It.
Oh, with Jesus, I'll make it. With Jesus.
Married for over 3 decades, the Grants have built more than just a home. They've built a legacy. From laughter to lessons, mountaintops to quiet prayers, David and Gillette open up about the real moments that have shaped their journey and the faith that continues to anchor their marriage. Don't miss the truly marvelous program To Have and to Hold with Dr. Colleen Beckles this Thursday, May 22 at 5:30 p.m. on the family station Love 101.
This is a special announcement from Love 101 and Love Television. Our general offices will be closed to the public on Labor Day, Friday, May 23, and will reopen on Monday, May 26, 2025 at 8:30 a.m. Programs and commercials for Friday, May 23 through to Monday, May 26 should be submitted by 9 a.m. on Wednesday, May 21, 2025. Obituaries and notices should be submitted by 10 a.m. on the same day to ensure scheduling for broadcast. Love 101 and Love TV wish for you and yours a peaceful Labor Day.
Get ready to take a trip down memory lane this Throwback Thursday inside Alive 1 to 5 with yours truly, Sarah and the Chirpy One. Tune in at 1:45 for a whirlwind of wordplay with Menticize. Prayer Warriors Unite! Fuel your faith and ignite your spirit at 2 p.m. with Prayer Blast. At 2:15 inside Piece of the Past, we look at something from the past. At 3 p.m., take a musical trip back in time with our Throwback Thursday playlist. At 4:30, stick and stay for more fun coming your way as Auntie Vashti wraps things up with the Small People Show. All this and more will come alive this Throwback Thursday with me, Sarah and the Chirpy One on the family station, Love 101.
Come on now, boom! You're alive. Everybody, boom! Come on now, boom!
This Friday, get ready for a fun-filled time inside Love in the Morning. Grab your cup of coffee and start the day right with the Morning Coffee Pick-Me-Up Devotional at 6 a.m. Then at 7 a.m., it's Fun Friday, and that's where we let down our hair and just have some fun. At 8 a.m., it's Forward in Faith from the Portmore New Testament Church of God. 8:30 a.m., The Healthy Way, and at 9:30, we bring you something more. Brought to you by the Faith Cathedral Deliverance Center. So stick and stay with us this Millennial Friday inside Love in the Morning, 5 to 10 a.m. on the family station, Love 101.
So come get it. Purchasing a vehicle is a lot more attainable with a Sagicor Bank Auto Loan. You'll be able to have your loan processed fast and hassle-free. We make it affordable with low interest rates. Your payments are manageable with up to 10 years to repay. Owning a new vehicle is comfortable with up to 100% financing. With a Sagicor Bank Auto Loan, your next ride is ownable and insurable. With discounts on auto insurance, with a Sagicor Bank Auto Loan, you'll be able to own the car of your dreams.
I'll keep you smiling as I watch you grow. I'll keep you smiling. Lacta Plus. Love to see you healthy and smiling, growing strong and you're thriving. Love means I stay by your side.
Lacta Plus. Support your toddler's immune system and mental development at this important stage. This product is not intended to be a substitute or complement to breast milk.
Lace up and get ready for a run to remember through the lush True Juice orchards in Buckwalk. It's the 10th annual True Juice 5K Run Walk, Sunday, June 8, 2025. Let's make this 10th anniversary bigger and better as we raise funds for the Linstead Hospital. It's going to be special with exciting surprises in store. Register now at truejuice5k.com. Entry fee only $3,000. Each participant will receive a free 5K t-shirt. Follow at True Juice on Instagram for more details.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. Thanks for staying with us. We apologize for the delay in the official start of the first watch. And of course, we are looking at the Gleaner report from last week that a mother was sentenced to almost 1 year in prison after being charged and found guilty with negligence for failing to report the physical abuse of her child by her husband. And so we have online Anthony Williams, attorney at law. Good morning to you, Mr. Williams. Good morning, Mr. Williams. Don't know if you're muted. Please unmute, Mr. Williams. We're not hearing you, sir. Okay, listeners, so we are working with the technology this morning, giving us some challenges. And we have online Anthony Williams, attorney at law.
Yeah, good morning.
Yes, good morning to you.
Yes, morning.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, man, I can hear you.
Okay, we're hearing you now. Good. Thanks for joining us this morning. Now, from a legal perspective, Anthony Williams, we're talking about negligence in regards to parenting. What constitutes negligence, and what does the law state really in that regard?
Well, thanks again, and good morning to you and your listeners.
Yes.
The relevant legislation is the Child Care and Protection Act. And that act states, which is section 6, subsection 2, it states that any person who has information which causes that person to suspect that a child has been, is being, or is likely to be abandoned, neglected, or physically or sexually ill-treated, or is otherwise in need of care and protection, then that person should make a report to the registry. So what we're seeing is that there's legislation in place for any person who has that knowledge to make a report. And so the law imposes an obligation or a duty on that person to take action. Now, when we look at section 6, subsection 2, it zeroes in on neglect, physical abuse, or sexually ill-treated person. So we come now to the question of negligence. What does negligence mean in law? Negligence means, firstly, that there is a duty. There's an obligation cast on someone to perform an act.
Yes.
Then there is the breach of that duty. The second thing is that there must be a breach of the duty. So you have a duty of care to do something, and you must have breached that duty. And the final element is that as a result of the breach of that duty, then the person suffered damage. Now, if we should correlate the word negligence in relation to the statutory obligation, then what it means is that if a parent as in the case of this mother,
Yes.
who knew that her child was being beaten or physically assaulted by the father, then she has a duty in law to report this matter to the authorities.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the first element of negligence.
Mm.
You have a duty of care to take action. She breached that duty because she did not report it to the authorities. And the damage is the fact that the child would have continued to suffer pain and other injuries, etc. So, therefore, Section 6, subsection 2 imposes that duty on the person.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I want to move a little bit from Section 6.2 and go to Section 6.1, because Section 6.1 speaks about the obligation of persons who the law describe as prescribed persons. So, apart from parents, Section 6.1 speaks to persons like a physician, which is a doctor,
Mm-hmm.
nurse, dentist, or any health or mental health professional. So if a mental health professional or a physician, nurse, dentist is of the opinion that a child is being abused, physically assaulted, they too have a responsibility.
Mm.
It also includes the administrator of a hospital facility, a school principal, a teacher, or any other teaching professional, a social worker, a guidance counselor. It also includes an owner, operator, or employee of any child daycare center or other child care institution.
Mm.
So, if we're to take, for example, a nursing home or a child daycare center, and that center sees that there's a child or children coming to the center and form the opinion that they are being neglected or they are physically or sexually ill treated, then they have a duty in law to do that. So there is, in fact, legislation, and we want persons to understand that they can't adopt a see and blind and hear and deaf approach.
Mm-hmm.
Because if children are going to be continually being sexually harassed, sexually assaulted, they are being neglected, or they are physically abused or being abandoned, and the law says once you suspect, that's the key word,
Mm-hmm.
you don't have to know that it is a fact. Section 6.2 makes it very, very clear that once you suspect, that's the key word in the legislation, that the child is being neglected or physically or sexually treated, or if they are in need of care and protection, then you have that obligation. And that is why the court, in this particular case, sentenced the mother to, I believe it was 11 months and some days,
a little less than
almost a
year.
year.
Yes.
So the court is sending a message, and in fact, a lady came and gave good character evidence for the mother. And what did the court say? The court said, look, despite that seemingly good character evidence, the judge said that she has to send a message to the wider society. And the judge is correct. She's correct in the sense that we can't have persons turning a blind eye, see and deaf approach, that a child is being assaulted sexually or physically, and all you do is just keep it to yourself. No, that's why the legislation is called the Child Care and Protection Act. The very wording of the act tells us that children are to be protected.
Okay. The incident, as I gather, perhaps took place with the stepfather, the husband of
Yes.
the mother, who went maybe to the school and
Yes.
perhaps inflicted some blows on the 7-year-old boy.
Yes.
Right. That sounded to me like a one-off incident. Is it that the law, well, based on this, it's saying that the law applies to that one-off incident rather than a
Yes.
continuous
Yes.
practice?
Yes, the law it applies to a one-off situation. In fact, upon a careful, meticulous reading of the legislation, it does not give the parameters for any person coming before the court to say, "Oh, it was just a one-off situation," or "it was a brief moment." The law says no. As long as you suspect, all the law is concerned with is the care and protection of a child. And it could be a one off situation, it could be a second situation, it could be a third. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go to the extreme now. What does it take to kill a man with a gun? It's not two bullets you need, you know.
One-off situation.
You just need one bullet.
Yes.
So one bullet can be the fatal.
Yes.
So a one-off situation could be a fatal situation. All it needs is just one.
You're
So you
correct.
can have a situation where it is just a one-off, and the child may have suffered serious injuries. So all we need is a one-off, and that is why the law is very, very careful in covering this instance. So a one-off situation can be dangerous, right?
What about the case, a situation where out of fear, could it be that the mother or other persons who may find themselves in a similar situation, because of fear, they do refuse or they fail to report the incident?
Well, you have raised a very good analysis, and it is the reality of life. It is the reality of life. There are some stepfathers who sexually molest or assault their stepdaughters, and the mother, out of fear, who love that man. Sometimes the mother is unemployed. They rely on that man for their financial means and assistance, and they don't want to lose the relationship. They don't want to lose their financial dependence. They don't want to lose their association with that man, and so they have to keep themselves quiet. And that is the reality of life for some family members, for some households. But the reality is too that the legislation is classified as the Child Care and Protection Act. It is not there to protect the mother. It is not there to protect the man. It is there to protect the child.
Yeah.
And it is equivalent to the offenses against the person act in relation to rape cases. All rape cases are there to protect the female. It is not to protect the accused person. It is to protect the female.
So you're saying
Right? So it's
regardless
very,
of the
very
fear.
important.
So you're saying regardless of
I'm
the
sorry?
fear, regardless of the fear, due diligence is that you're
Yes,
supposed to report it.
that is correct.
Wow.
That's correct.
Wow.
Now, I want to get to Section 9 of the Child Care and Protection Act. And very briefly, it says a person commits an offense if that person, being an adult and having the custody, charge, or care of any child, willfully, and this is the key word, willfully. So if a person is an adult and they have the custody, charge, or care of any child, and they willfully assault, physically or mentally ill treats, neglects, abandon, or exposes such child, or they cause or procure the child to be assaulted, physically or mentally ill treated, neglected, abandoned, or exposed in a manner likely to cause that child unnecessary suffering or injury to their health, including injury to or loss of their sight or hearing or limb or organ of the body or any mental arrangement, then that person commits an offense. So
Willfully.
basically, what we are seeing is that the legislation sets out provisions to protect children. It is not to protect the adult. The legislation says if you, in the first place, is an adult, once you have custody of that child, in other words, the child is in your care and your charge, whether the child belongs to you biologically is irrelevant as long as you have custody, charge, or care. It could be a grandmother, it could be a grandfather, an auntie, an aunt, a foster mother, a foster parent, whatever the case may be. But as long as you have care and custody and charge of that child, right, and you willfully,
as you mentioned,
assault,
as you
or
mentioned,
physically or
willfully.
mentally ill treat the child. So what we have is two situations. We have section 6, which says if you suspect that something is happening to that child,
Right.
then you have an obligation. Now, section 9 says
willfully.
Willfully, if you personally willfully do this, then you're going to be subject
Stick
to
up in
the law.
right there, Mr. Williams, because that's exactly where I'm going with my next question. What do you think is the significance of the fact that the mother was sentenced for almost a year in prison, while the father, who reportedly abused the child, was sentenced for a year in prison?
Well,
both of them. I mean, almost a year
I
or
looked
a
at
year.
it. I looked at it, and initially one may form the opinion that the sentence may be disproportional.
Yes.
Yes, it could appear to be disproportional.
Yes.
Okay, but the reality is the legislation stipulates the sanction, right? It stipulates the sanction, and the sanction is at section 6, subsection 4. So that person who contravenes the legislation, they are liable to pay a fine not exceeding $500,000 or to a term of imprisonment not exceeding 6 months or to both such fine and imprisonment. I'm not sure if there's any amendment to the legislation, but the fact of the matter is that, in my opinion, the father's sanction was appropriate in relation to the mother. I suppose there may be some other extenuating circumstance why the learned resident magistrate imposed that almost similar sanction.
Yeah, I'm just making the observation, because person
Yes,
may be
it's a
wondering.
good observation.
Yes.
It's a good observation.
Yes.
And I say it's a good observation because in law there are always different parties to a crime. You have what we call the principal offender, and we have what is called the secondary offender.
Right.
In this case, the secondary offender would be the mother.
Yes.
And I would have imagined that the secondary offender would be given a sanction which is slightly lower than the principal offender.
We're run out of time now, Mr. Williams. A final question, I believe. With both parents sentenced to imprisonment, what arrangements were or should be made for the child in question and his siblings?
Yeah, well, what would happen now is that the legislation also takes this into consideration, and the child can go into state care. Yeah, the child can go into state care. Right?
Yeah. And well, due consideration for the fact that the child now, or the children as well, would have the loss of both parents in terms of the emotional aspect of it.
Yes.
Is the arrangement made for that?
It is very sad because here it is that the child has a mother and father, and here it is that both parents have been convicted for a criminal offense, and so the child would be without the care, love, and affection of the father and mother. What I find very egregious about this matter, though, is the fact that the father is a pastor and he should have known better.
Yes. Yes.
Very sad.
Yes, it
very
is.
sad.
It is. It is. And as far
Very
as
sad.
you know, the I don't know if you're au fait with the case in terms of any personal knowledge, but I hope the child is doing okay under the circumstances.
Yeah, I don't know anything about the case, even except for my reading.
Okay.
And the publication of the case, but I hope that child will get around and have some improvement, mentally, because it's a mental challenge
all
for that
around.
child.
It's really
it's a mental challenge.
Yes. Thank you so very
Yes.
much, Mr. Anthony Williams. We appreciate your insight and information.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Yeah.
Listeners, the Morning Watch will continue in just a moment.
Open a deposit account in the JN Bank Savings Streams promotion and save monthly for a chance to win an all expenses paid trip to Peru. Enter now. The time by JN Bank Savings Streams promotion is
7:30.
Jamaica and its workforce are advancing quickly. Life-changing opportunities are arising. You need training and support. We are the Renewed Heart NSTA Trust, committed to providing new and emerging skills training and opportunities. Come to Heart. We'll help you claim your place in the workforce of the future.
Mama work hard, for real. She do the most to send me and my brother go school. So, the dream was always to go to university. Well, I fulfilled 2 dreams with 1 Jane Bank savings plan, you know. I further my education and I make mama proud.
Save so you can make the par, travel far, graduate like a star.
Stop wishing you could. With your Jane Bank savings, you absolutely can. Jane Bank will help you find a way.
Blooming Baby Jamaica presents the exciting Baby and Family Showcase event. Enjoy contests for babies and tots, interactive exhibits, a pediatric panel, and the kiddies fun space. Adults 1,000, kids 12 and under free. Tickets at Fontana Pharmacy Fairview. Sponsored by Heritage Education Funds International, Huggies Pull-Up, Scott, Kotex Snap Pack, CBL Munchie Biscuits, Pasquale Yogurt, Gaga Fruit Desserts, Alacta Plus, Giggles Premium. Saturday, May 24 at the Montego Bay Convention Center, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Blooming Baby Jamaica, everything for the baby and the bump and beyond. See you there.
This is a special announcement from Love 101 and Love Television. Our general offices will be closed to the public on Labor Day, Friday, May 23, and will reopen on Monday, May 26, 2025 at 8:30 a.m. Programs and commercials for Friday, May 23 through to Monday, May 26 should be submitted by 9 a.m. on Wednesday, May 21, 2025. Obituaries and notices should be submitted by 10 a.m. on the same day to ensure scheduling for broadcast. Love 101 and Love TV wish for you and yours a peaceful Labor Day.
This Thursday, May 22, on To Have and To Hold. Get ready for a love story that's rich with faith, purpose, and 33 years of unshakable commitment. Dr. Colleen Beckles sits down with David and Gillette Grant. He's a passionate pastor. She's a powerful psalmist, best known for the soul-stirring anthem, With Jesus, I'll Make It.
Oh, with Jesus, I'll make it. With Jesus.
Married for over 3 decades, the Grants have built more than just a home. They've built a legacy. From laughter to lessons, mountaintops to quiet prayers, David and Gillette open up about the real moments that have shaped their journey and the faith that continues to anchor their marriage. Don't miss the truly marvelous program To Have and To Hold with Dr. Colleen Beckles this Thursday, May 22 at 5:30 p.m. on the family station Love 101.
Get ready to take a trip down memory lane this Throwback Thursday.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. Thanks for staying with us. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint. Let's now look at the newspapers to see what Jamaicans and others are saying and doing in the Observer. Record drop in poverty. Economy grows 0.8%. No, not Gia. School community stunned by the death of bubbly 4-year-old shot in mysterious circumstances at home. In the Gleaner, Grants Pen residents weary of community going back to the days of crime and violence. And also in the Gleaner, JCF says cops seen in video at house were responding to distress call, denies misconduct. And in Loop News, KSAMC leads cleanup operation to improve safety around Tarrant schools. And then finally, in Loop News, go ahead and sue me. PNP's Dawes tells MP Williams, read the 31 million surgical drill saga. Those are some of the major stories and headlines in our newspapers. Well, coming up next, we read some of the feedback from our social media question. Should negligent parents be fined and or jailed? We're asking you to leave a comment on our Facebook page and YouTube channel, Love 101 FM Jamaica, or WhatsApp 876-997-3125. We'll be right back.
It's time to fill your cup with a blend of hope and inspiration. Join me, Nadine Blair, weekdays, Monday to Friday from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. for Morning Express, your mid-morning sanctuary on Love 101. We'll take you through carefully chosen music to soothe your soul, with thoughtful words to uplift your spirit, programs and features for growth and upliftment. Tune in and be encouraged. Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. for Morning Express with Nadine Blair, right here on your family station, Love 101.
We will take you higher on the Morning Express. On the Morning Express. Oh, yes.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. Thanks for staying with us. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint. Let's now join Darren for a look at how our Facebook, YouTube, and WhatsApp friends answered today's question. Should negligent parents be fined and or jailed? Darren?
All right, so this one is from Cherry from Spanish Town, and she's saying, when it comes to negligence, what we need to find out first is what causes the negligence. Is it fear, anger, or revenge? They can get counseling and pay a fine, and depending on the negligence, imprisonment. The object, and most important of all, is the child or children who are being neglected.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Sherry. Well said. And thank you, Darren, for reading it. Okay, we now segue into the second watch. The alleged thuggish behavior of a businessman toward a nurse has gone viral and stirred the conscience, heart, and soul of the nation, and understandably so. But what are the underlying major concerns and complications that automatically arise from the incident? To discuss this, we have joining us so far Jehan White, counseling psychology from Tea House Therapy. And I think we hope to be joined by another guest shortly. Good morning, Jehan White.
Good morning, Dr. Toussaint. Good morning, listeners.
Yes, good to have you with us again. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm well. Well, we're looking on this vexing issue or vexed issue. What are your opening thoughts on the aforementioned incident, which has gone viral?
Well, my opening thoughts are mostly related to the grateful that there was an opportunity for it to be filmed so that there can be an actual action taking place. And also the way in which this represents or shows the level to which people face unexpected violent encounters every day,
Mm,
and how we can best support people when they encounter such experiences.
yes. And when you saw it, Miss White, how was your initial response reaction? I'm assuming you did, or at least
I did. I and that is a safe assumption, definitely. It's I, to be honest, I went through a wave of emotions. The initial was shock, and then I reserved to acceptance far faster than I would have liked. It felt very familiar, unfortunately, when it comes to, it just in
familiar.
knowing, not in terms of a personal experience, but when it comes to people speaking about and experiencing violence every day, yes. Based on, it might be the uniqueness of my work, but I hear about people who encounter unexpected violent encounters regularly, and
Mm,
as a result, try and process and move through that type of trauma.
yes. Now, as a counseling psychologist, from your perspective, from your experience and expertise, what do you think was really happening here in the psychological realm, at least?
From a psychological lens, the I think that what occurred was an escalation, an inability to manage or to properly deal with one's frustrations, anger, and then it escalated to a point of really could have been, lethal. So it was a relatively harmless encounter when it came to a vehicle trying to go around another. Someone felt wronged or slighted, and as the two interacted and they both escalated the situation in different ways, it became it went too far, as they say. And as a result, everyone has to recognize that there are always lines that are too far, and that we need to learn how to manage and control our emotions and our responses so that it does not get to that point. And unfortunately, that didn't happen. And it led to really dire consequences.
Yes. There are, of course, underlying issues that have arisen in terms of what could have happened, what did happen, what should have happened or didn't.
Hmm.
One such issue is the whole matter of road rage.
Hmm.
What's your take on that? What from a psychological perspective, how would you diagnose that situation?
To diagnose and just so I'm clear,
Road
Dr.
rage,
Toussaint,
really, from a
road
psychological.
rage in general.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
So the road rage in general very much is, I think, related to the anger and frustrations of people as they try and get from point A to point B. And so we have road rules. We have road rules for a reason. And slowly but surely within Jamaica, more people are disobeying and completely disregarding road rules. Whether we talk about, public passenger vehicles, or we're talking about everyday drivers, and things like stopping in the middle of the road to have conversations, illegal taking overtaking lines illegally, cutting people off. Those rules are there for a reason, to keep us safe, and everyone gets to their destination eventually. Unfortunately, as this occurs more and more people are delayed, more people are frustrated, and as people get frustrated, that frustration becomes and builds into anger.
Hmm.
You see more people yelling and screaming in cars, yelling and screaming at passengers, at pedestrians. It has become worse. And so the next level, unfortunately, is now people are having interactions and encounters on the road. So two people in vehicles, they are now escalating to the point of yelling, screaming, blocking each other with their cars. And this situation where people are being pulled out of vehicles and assaulted, it's
Hmm.
it's 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 the ex, it's the escalation of the inability or the unwillingness, perhaps, of many people who are not following and obeying the road rules, becoming
Hmm.
more angry as a result, and feel like they have to respond or react and make sure this doesn't happen again, and show you that you can do that to me. And it becomes this debate and back and forth, and really becomes a violent situation.
Yes. And of course, with what's going on our roads, with the traffic, the potholes,
Yes.
just the stress within the society, everything combined to this type of escalation, is it not?
Absolutely. And this is a definition of a powder keg. This is a definition of, an explosion waiting to happen, in which you, at the end of the day, we don't have the right tools and supports in order to, or sometimes even discipline to be able to, deal with these very frustrating circumstances. And the reality of escalations is eventually it becomes violent.
Tell you what.
Escalations there.
Yes, 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 Jan White,
Sorry.
you're doing well. We're up on a break. Hold that thought.
Oh, yes.
We'll be right back.
Time on Love 101 is 7:45.
When you see opportunity, make sure you take it. So when I got a piece of land to grow things, I jumped at it. With my Jane Bank small business loan, I grew the opportunity. I've reaped a whole new life for my family. Now my goods supply plenty market across the parish.
Jane Bank helps you grow your business with a Jane Bank small business loan that is perfect for you. Borrow from $10,000 up to $1.5 million to help cover expenses. Visit janebank.com to get started today. Jane Bank will help you find a way.
Are you ready for something mega? Spend $6,500 or more before GCT. Drop your entry in the box and you can win a 2025 Hyundai Toussaint. It's the Mega Wheels Tour promotion. April 5th to September 28th. Second prize, a $50,000 shopping spree every month for a year. Third prize, a $30,000 shopping spree every month for a year. Brought to you by Hyundai, Redstone, Heineken, True Milk, Rex, Walker's Wood, Downing, CPJ Daiquiri, and Carryburst. Juice Concentrate. Only at Megamart. Locations island-wide. Megamart. Best value by far. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Rating Gaming and Lotteries Act.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. Thanks for staying with us. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint. I gather that we have some other comments that have come in from the question that was posted online. We'd like to have them now. Darren?
All right. So Olga Cummings went from Waltham says negligence. Oh, well, some forms of correction have to be made. Most of the young parents today don't listen to the elders or law. They said we're old-time people, and it's now modern day. So yes, they're afraid of going to prison for what they read this properly. Going to prison for what they're going to do and to also serve the time in prison. So just going to prison is not enough. They must do some hard work similar to the past so that no one wishes to return to prison. Set that law. Troubled homes and with troubled homes in mind, parents get help. There's enough counseling centers and people around ready to serve in this area. So that's from Olga. And Tracy, I believe she's commenting on the discussion about workplace. She said that that it's the most traumatic circumstances now at workplaces, which is causing mental disturbances to employees and workers.
Yeah.
People are leaving their jobs because of these circumstances.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Darren. I want to thank those who sent in those responses. And so we continue, listeners, to look on the whole matter of this viral video that many persons, of course, are acquainted with now. And we have been hearing so far from Jan White, counseling psychologist from Tea House Therapy. And we are joined now, I gather, by Major Robert Finzi Smith, security consultant. Welcome to you as well, Major Finzi Smith.
Morning, Tom. My apologies. An overseas plan that call. I couldn't cut them off.
Okay, understood. Happy that you could join us. On the other end of the line is Jan White, counseling psychologist from Tea House Therapy.
Mrs.
Miss
White?
Yes, Miss White.
Yes.
Yes.
Morning, Miss White.
Good morning, sir.
Yes. So, Major Smith, your thoughts on the incident? And bearing in mind that it is now in court.
Exactly, which is why I almost snickered. It's a little difficult to give my thoughts without crossing the threshold of what's acceptable because it's now a judicial matter.
Mm-hmm.
But Jamaican people are a fascinating bunch, you know. I have heard everybody has a theory. Some are ridiculous. Some just want to get likes to the most outrageous thing. But most people don't understand the law of provocation. If I do something to provoke you and you respond almost instantaneously, the law of provocation applies somewhat. But if I wait for a while and then come at you, that's premeditated. It is my understanding, and I'm making this as succinctly clear as I can, that the genesis of this situation is that the now accused is alleged to have been in conversation with someone else on the road. And that happens very regularly in town, especially, but this was worse because the road is narrow. When you stop to talk to somebody, it blocks the road entirely.
Mm.
And a conversation I'm made to understand was going on. It is alleged that the nurse was on her way to work and running late and was trying to get by asking if them could move a little bit and let her come through. It is alleged that person maintained what was effectively a roadblock.
Mm.
And when he finally decided that it was now time to move, he did what we call in Jamaica whole road on her. So she couldn't, he didn't, having kept her up, he didn't let her go around. And this just made her angrier. The initial thing of you blocking road, and then when you get a chance to let me go, you are spitefully keeping me back. And it is alleged that words passed, and the gentleman, and I use the term loosely, stopped in a manner which completely now blocked the road and jumped out of his vehicle and went to the lady's window, and words passed, and it is alleged that he spat on her.
Now we emphasize the allegations, right? Because I'm not sure that we can
That's why I keep saying this
substantiate any of that.
It is for, I'm trying to put it in context as best as I can without infringing on the court.
Yes.
It is further alleged that she threw water on him in response to the alleged spit. And however, whether he drew her out of the car or whether she emerged of her own volition, she was removed from the vehicle or she came out of the vehicle. And the physical exchange occurred. I bring you back to my original point of provocation. It is alleged that the gentleman, again, the word is used loosely, may have been under the influence of Ray and his nephew.
Oh, there, Major, you're raising things I don't know about. You see, but let me just cut you right there. The whole matter of crime and violence against women. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask Jan White. That has risen has come up as a major concern. What are your comments on that, generally speaking, Jan White?
Oh, my comment?
No, Jan White.
My comments on the extent of crime and violence as it relates to this case against women.
Yeah, violence against women. Yes, there are persons now who are using this as a springboard to raise the issue again in Jamaica.
Mm-hmm. I think the escalation, the perceived escalation of crime and violence against women and children is really more, reality is we're hearing about it more. And so I think that that violence has always been present. And as a result, with the things we've been hearing in the media and things have been brought to light, there's a continued frustration and a continued desire for there to be some form of approach that can be taken as a society in order to help to support everyone, because this is a societal challenge, to support everyone in terms of being able to decrease that perception and that experience, because there is a fear that is, I think, very much present. I think, as Major said, Jamaica is a very unique space where, as we are experiencing this and as women and children are not feeling safe, and I really think that that has always been the case, but there is simply more opportunity to hear about incidents in which we can respond and recognize that this needs to be something that a conversation or policies can be further policies can be put in place in order to address it.
Yes.
I completely agree. Can I add?
Yes, sir.
That we are now just hearing about what has always been almost endemic.
Absolutely.
I go further. In my pursuit on active duty, I've encountered domestic disputes that escalated into the gentleman beating the hell out of the woman. And when someone said to the woman, "Why do you stay?" her response was, "It's because he loved me." There are women in this country as we speak who believe that if their men don't beat them, they don't love them.
You're talking about separate incidents now, okay?
Yes, but
Okay.
what I'm pointing out is that this thing about, it's a tip of the iceberg. Because just because somebody has a camera and utilize it, men beating women isn't as reprehensibly viewed as we would like it to be. It has, I don't know if the lady agrees with me, but it would almost has just now stuck his head above the surface. But it's always been there. And there's some women who, in order to prove how much they are loved, provoke.
And of course, this is not in reference to this particular
No,
incident.
I know.
Generally
Right.
speaking. Yes, generally speaking.
Generally speaking.
Yes, okay.
So we have now taken this as a benchmark because of the nature of it and who said to be involved and all that. But I'm putting it to you that my experience has been that this has been simmering for quite some time. The filth, if you pardon my utilization of the term, has always been there. It's just like somebody set the lid off of the pot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me ask, as we wind on our discussion, and I'm hearing the passion in both your voices, what are your thoughts on the response of the Jamaican public so far to the incident, the viral video? Jan White?
My response to
your thoughts on the
public's
yes.
My thoughts on the public response is that I am hopeful that this can lead to something. This can lead to an ability for there to be more communication around the different areas that definitely contributed to this particular escalation. And I am grateful that the public has it. I mean, we naturally engage in conversation as a society and as a community. And so we have the ability to now engage in conversation. I also know that words are powerful. And as we do so, I would encourage the public, and I hope that we can continue to do so in a constructive and healthy manner and not to descend into further venom, because that's something that can absolutely take place and I've seen in different ways. But that would be my thoughts upon what I've been seeing regarding public response.
Yes. Very, very quickly, Major Finzi Smith, you have half a minute.
Let me take it to the edge of the cliff very quickly.
Half a minute.
My thing is this: Jamaicans love excitement wherever they can find it. My question is, what if the lady had not been a nurse? Would it have gotten this amount of attention?
All right. We'll leave it at that. Interesting question and comments. I want to thank you both for joining us. Have a safe and productive day.
Thank you.
And again, listeners.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Again, listeners, the opinions expressed are not necessarily those of Love FM. We want to thank you, listeners, for being with us. For information, to get copies of this program, call our production department at 876-968-9596-7. This has been the Morning Watch. Thanks to our producer, Kathy Gale, and our guests. Please join Mr. Stokely Marshall next week as he continues to look at the issues of the day. I'm Dylan Toussaint, reminding you to be purposeful, faithful, thankful, and watchful as I return you to Love in the Morning with the creative one, Darrell Mitchell.
At the Ministry of Health and Wellness, we are committed to the values of care.